So there is nothing at all that you can tell me about the person who tried to kill you? Officer Elliot tucks one foot under his chair to balance himself as he leans toward me. I watch the pages of his notebook sway in the air. There are 3 pages of sparse notes and lots of empty space, even though he's been questioning me for over an hour. He looks as exhausted as I feel, and I push down the guilt, imagining him spending the past week heading up this investigation, the elation he must have found at finding a missing person still alive, and the frustration of having the entire process hit another wall. A nurse hovers on my left, pulling an IV needle from my arm, the least of the medical tortures I have endured for a week, but the last to go, other than this final grilling from the police. "Cassandra," he says, scooting forward and dropping his voice like we're sharing a secret. "We are doing everything we can to keep you safe, but we cannot make an arrest if we don't have any leads. We know you were missing for a week. Someone hit your head several times and choked you. You somehow survived a forest fire, ending up nearly dead in the woods by the same highway where you disappeared." He spreads his hands. "We can protect you, but you have to help us out. Can you remember anything at all?" "I remember waking in the woods," I say slowly. "And?" My tongue creeps between my lips, refusing to form words. What am I supposed to say? I don't remember how I got into the woods. I don't remember why I was so dressed up, where I was going, or who I was with. I don't have any idea who tried to kill me, or why anybody would want to. All I remember is waking up in between. My heart squeezes, and I close my eyes. I remember Jessica describing the outfit she chose for her very first date, unaware she'd be wearing it in the afterlife. I remember Brad creating a crown of autumn leaves with hands that were blown to bits in battle. I remember how the crown stayed on the bed the night that Miranda faded, because her still living brother decided to create memories with his granddaughter instead of dwelling on the memories of the house fire that killed her. And Carter, who figured out I wasn't like them, that I was still breathing, that a thread of my spirit was still connected to my body. But I can't tell about between, the realm where you are fueled by memories and experience the world only as vividly as you can recall it. So I focus on the moments after Carter helped me get back into my body. I remember waking in the woods, I repeat. I couldn't move, couldn't call out. There was a car. A man found me. Before that, nothing. When I first woke, I couldn't even remember my name. Officer Elliot blows a long breath through his nose. He flips the papers, closing the notepad. "Okay, your mother is on her way here to take you home. If you remember anything at all, or if you feel unsafe, call us right away. Whoever did this to you is still out there. We need all the help you can give to catch him and keep him from trying to hurt anyone again." My heart pounds. I feel it in my chest, my neck, and temples. I have lived one breath away from death, but I'm going home soon, wherever that is, with my family, whoever they are. "There is one thing," I say. "I can't remember a face, but there's a man's voice that keeps saying, 'It was an accident. You can't tell anyone.'" Officer Elliot's eyes light up as he scribbles down the information, but I dash his enthusiasm with, "I think that's from a long time ago, though. I don't think it's my killer." I wince at the slip in words, the implication that I did actually die, but he only asks, "Do you have any idea what it's about?" I glance around, just now realizing my necklace is gone, and hoping the eye from my stuffed bear wasn't thrown out with my tattered designer gown. Something I saw when I was little, but nobody believed me. Nobody except the stuffed bear, and he only saw half, because his eye got ripped off. I hung on to that eye, later stringing it onto a black cord in place of the gaudy beads it had held before. The memory is vague, more words than pictures, and I follow it for a few seconds before I remember the officer is watching me. I don't know, I stutter, what that was about, or why I even said it. The door clicks open, and a voice sings, "I'm here!" Officer Elliot and I turn together. I wince, but I've gotten used to the random intrusions by the woman I should remember, but don't. The officer's lips press together, but he's already squeezed every fragment of information out of me, and he knows as well as I do that his time is up. "Remember what I said," he says. "If you recall anything, call us right away." "Yes, sir," I answer. I know he's trying to help, but right now I am confused and exhausted, and he knows more about my life than I do. I don't want to see him again. "I brought presents." Mom sachets into the room like she has every morning for the last 4 days, only this time she has a shopping bag. Her blonde hair is ironed so flat that the only variation in texture are the sections that her jeweled sunglasses force behind her ears. She's wearing a black dress that hugs a slim waist and curvy hips. A sharp, open front white jacket frames the necklace that swoops between it, creating a swirl of silver that changes diamonds into flowers peeping between tanzanite stones. I blink. How in the world can I remember the names of gemstones and still have no memory of the woman wearing them? Maybe my memory loss isn't from the bashed bit at the back of my head. Maybe it's another trick of between. The realm of between feels like a fairy tale, but fairy tales can be very cruel places to live. I glance toward the officer, reluctant to sit up in the hospital gown while he's still in the room. He clears his throat and stands. "Well, I guess that's it. Remember to call if you need anything." He nods toward my mother as she passes. "Miss LaRoe?" "Good morning, officer," Mom answers. "Don't worry, we're looking into this privately." After he leaves, she smiles at me, holding out a shopping bag. "Here, I got you a brand new outfit. Oh, and just so you are prepared, there are newscasters outside. I know you don't like attention, but we can't get them to go away. You don't have to talk to them. Just stay near Simon. He'll tell them if they get too close. People just want to see that you're fine." She sighs. "Those vultures have been camping on our lawn all week. And whatever happens, don't let any of them know that you can't remember anything." Her eyes gleam. "We don't want whoever tried to hurt you to feel like he will get away with it, because he won't." "All right." I slide off the bed, taking the shopping bag. "It's a pretty bag," I say, tracing the foiled stamped silver that covers the bottom and swirls off into a teal top. "Oh, Cassandra," Mom sighs, but she almost laughs, so I guess it's okay. "It's a shopping bag. Go change." The floor is cold, and I can feel air seep through the slit of the thin gown. I try to hold it shut as I shuffle to the bathroom, but Mom's already talking to the nurse, ignoring my trip. Inside the bathroom, I lean against the door. The room is tiny, but I can breathe better here. "I'll be here." I remember Carter's voice so clearly, I can at least pretend he's speaking to me. "For as long as you need me." He didn't say forever, though he technically could. Carter doesn't believe the living should obsess over the dead, or that the dead should talk to them, even when they can. I swallow and splash water onto my face. Dress. Just dress. I pull out a small box and set it on the bathroom counter, searching for the undergarments and pants folded neatly at the bottom. They're new, and I struggle with the tags. The outfit that the mother I can't remember brought is also black and white, only this time it's reversed. My shirt is black, sleeveless, hanging straight until the hem takes a sharp angle to the right. My pants are white, fitting at the top, but going in straight lines to my ankles. It looks bland until I open the jewelry box. The bathroom light catches a thick, solid gold chain that swoops. Creating a netted V that suspends 6 rubies. The bracelet continues the zigzagging pattern, hosting another 6 red stones. Adding the earrings makes a total of 14 rubies on my person. I grin as I step back outside. Mom, someone's going to steal me just for the jewelry. You don't think it's a bit of overkill for leaving the hospital? That's not funny, she says, but continues without a beat. That's my signature piece for this year. You've saved the best pieces of jewelry for the very best moments. She steps close and straightens the necklace with almost a caress. And this is the best moment. There is a friendly but firm knock at the door, and a baritone voice calls, "Cass, it's Dad, are you decent?" Confusion crashes my carefully constructed framework of reality, and I glance toward Mom to see if she heard the voice too. My dad is dead. The ghost even tricked me in between, making himself look like the man he saw in my memories, and I fell for it because I was hoping to find Dad. And I realize I remember one thing: Dad, even though I didn't recognize Mom when I woke. Mom lights up, calling, "Come in, she's all right." I swing toward the door, hoping I was wrong, but the man who steps into the room is definitely not my dad. Dad matched Mom, with blue eyes and blonde hair, though his was a few shades darker. This man's got dark hair that would curl in spirals if he didn't cut it an inch from his head. His nose is beaked, just a bit too big for his face, like someone decided he was too good looking and cursed him when he was young. His whole face looks a little gray, stress sagging his skin, but he carries himself like King Arthur, poised, exhausted, and getting a little too old to be considered traditionally handsome. His eyes are brown, crinkled at the corners, and baggy beneath, like he hasn't slept since I disappeared. Now that I think about it, Mom's eyes are really puffy too, but she's hidden them beneath layers of concealer and foundation. "Cassandra," I hear relief even in his whisper, and he wraps me up in a crushing hug. His suit presses against my face and smells like the cleaners. "I'm so glad you're okay," he says, before pulling me back to study my face. "You are okay." I'm sure someone has told him I was found, dehydrated and nearly dead, that I have a knot on the back of my head from my would-be murderer slamming me into something hard. But he eyes me like he wants to hear me say that I'm okay, before he lets himself accept the relief. I should assure him, but all I can manage is to sputter, "You're not my dad." Hurt flashes across his face, but Mom quickly says, "Honey, this is your stepdad. Simon, she doesn't remember anything." "You don't..." Simon stares at me before he shifts to peer at the back of my head. "How is your head anyway? Do they know what hit it?" He reaches, like he's going to touch it. I swing out of his way as a shadowy memory forms. Someone grabs my shoulders, slams me against something. My heart speeds up, and I'm not sure if I want to keep retreating from my stepdad who just summoned a memory, or cling to him in case my murderer comes back. Because the man did try to murder me. My body lay in the woods for a week before anyone found me. If my spirit hadn't got knocked out and spent the days eating and drinking to remember what it was like, it wouldn't have sustained my body. I'd have died of dehydration if nothing else. I was a fluke, both in the present world, where I managed to stay alive, and in between, where I managed to keep breathing when no one else could. Somehow, I was connected to my body just enough to preserve it. At least, that's the best theory I've come up with. The doctors are assuming that my captor kept me somewhere, and I managed to escape when the woods caught fire, then fainted, succumbing to dehydration, exhaustion, and smoke inhalation. Their explanation makes a lot more sense than mine, but unless I hallucinated all my friends in between, I was running around in the woods with a bunch of dead teens. My head. Simon was asking about my head. It's okay, I say, before he decides to investigate for himself. I still get dizzy sometimes, but the nausea's gone away. Mom puts an arm around my shoulder. Yeah, it's probably good you were in Hong Kong when they found her. She winks at me. He doesn't do vomiting well. Neither do I. I slept most of my first 3 days at the hospital and threw up almost the entire fourth, caught between the nausea and vertigo. She squeezes my shoulders. Come on, Cassandra. Let's get you home. We can look at some pictures. It'll all come back. Wait. There's that name again. When I was in between, I remember my real dad. I asked him what my name was. He said Chloe, but another voice called me Cassandra. I thought my name was Chloe, I blurt. Mom takes a short breath, then lets it out. That is your name. Was your name. We changed it when I married Simon. It's a long story, but your name is Cassandra now. She stops stammering and looks at me with a plea. Let's just get you home, all right? Okay. I am so confused that my breath barely makes it out of my mouth. It's strange to walk through the hospital in regular clothes, with only my bracelet to betray me. I shift impatiently as Simon signs me out, and the nurse stutters for him to have a good morning, even though it's afternoon. When he hands her back the clipboard, she drops the pen. Mom loops her arm through Simon's, raising her chin, sending cool looks to every woman in the room. Simon squeezes her arm, then drops it and tugs me between them. I feel trapped at first, but the moment we walk out of the front doors, we're swarmed with reporters and a tangle of mics and cameras. Cassandra! I hear my name on every side, questions slung out, but they're all speaking over each other and I can't understand what anyone is asking. Mom slows, and I pull closer to Simon, grateful that he's tall and carries himself with a collected calmness that is almost imposing. Cassandra is fine. Mom speaks slowly, like they're dim-witted, while Simon just plows a path and tugs me through. She's fine, we just want to take her home. Voices rattle my head. Colors blur like I'm swirling a brush through thick paint. I push against Simon, and the reporters close the gap between us and Mom. I shake my head without meaning to, but Simon wraps his arm around my shoulder, tucking me away from the man. The police are still investigating, he says. We are not issuing any public statements about what happened or the officer's next steps. All the public needs to know is that Cassandra is safe, and we intend to keep her that way. A young reporter jams a microphone into my face, demanding, Cassandra, do you feel safe going to the same home as the main suspect in this case? What? The stunned word is out before I even realized I said it. Your brother was the last person seen with you. Simon breaks him off. We have no reason to believe that Xander hurt her in any way. Cassandra, get in the car. What? I sputter. But Simon plants himself between the reporter, and I stumble back. My brother? I blink. My brother is dead. Naira saw his funeral when she searched my memories in between. Unless I have a stepbrother I can't remember. Simon nudges me again, and I scan the rows of parked cars, finding I have no idea which is ours. Until Simon hits his phone screen, and a black Tesla pulls out of a parking space and drives slowly toward us. I jolt, wondering if a betweener is at the wheel, but it stops, and the door to the back raises from bottom to top like the wing of a giant bird getting ready to fly away with us. I dive in anyway, grateful as the door lowers, putting a barrier between me and the reporter. Simon calls, "Come on, Mom is backing away from the mob, but she's still talking. Simon opens the driver's side, which behaves as a normal car door, and slides into the cabin, driving slowly through the mass to try and rescue Mom without running anyone over. Are we celebrities or something? I whisper. Simon barks a laugh. No. He softens as he glances out, though your mother likes to pretend. We're definitely something, though. Everything from the car to my necklace to Simon's suit and Mom's purse is expensive. When Carter convinced me to put my spirit back into my body to see if I could return to my old life, I'm not sure either of us imagined anything like this. I look around the back seat, wondering if any of my friends from between are nearby. They could follow me, and we wouldn't even know they were here. But likely they didn't. Betweeners are made up of energy, fueled by the memories of people, but even normal activities like walking take that energy. Passing through objects takes a lot. Unless someone climbed into the car of the guy who found me, they wouldn't have been able to keep up. Carter, I've been pumped with so many medications that my mind has been blurry, but my rescue begins to return with clarity. I never saw the blood on Carter's shirt while he was in between, but when he made himself visible in the road, it was all over him. The driver swerved to miss him, went ballistic trying to find him, and found me. The car would have careened into Carter if he was in the present instead of between's layer of the world. If it went through him in between, I close my eyes because they're filling with tears I can't explain. He couldn't have killed Carter, even if the car collided with him, because Carter is already dead. But he could have ripped all of his energy away, forcing him to fade. Even if he didn't, Carter's probably laying in the ditch somewhere with his arm over his eyes, waiting to recharge enough to function, just like he did when he fought the ghost who pretended to be my real dad. I push air in and out of my solid lungs and try to remember every memory of Carter as vividly as I can. I feel like Peter Pan, desperately clapping to keep Tinkerbell's light on. "Cassandra, are you okay?" Simon asks. "Look at me," he says, twisting in the seat to meet my eyes. "I don't know what happened out there. I do know that sometimes people panic and do things they would never normally do. If Xander really did hurt you, I want you to tell us." "Who is Xander?" I stare, but Simon only blinks in confusion. "He was the last person with you when you disappeared. He's the one who couldn't find you and alerted us." I sit up, remembering the ghost's accusation in between. I thought he was making up the story of me leaving my brother, running into the woods after an argument. Simon pauses, but since I don't know if Xander hurt me or not, I don't say anything. He takes a breath, continuing. "But I also want you to know that I would not be taking you home if I suspected that he actually hurt you. Or that he would now. Let's be cautious, but let's not jump to conclusions unless we have a reason." Mom finally climbs into the car, saving me from coming up with a reply. She smooths her hair as she speaks. "Those people have no manners, but we at least have to let the community know that she's all right." She sucks in 2 breaths, sounding like a bull before she adds, "I hope the man who did this is scared out of his mind." "I hope we can figure out who it was," Simon says. I chew my lip as the car starts, without much more than a purr, wondering if whoever it was is anywhere nearby. I'd return to life, determined to do all the things I'd been too scared to try before. But at the moment, I'm too scared to even leave the car. Stupid reporter. I'll be here for as long as you need me. I'd assumed when Carter made that promise, he would be watching me the way he watches his family sometimes. That he might even make a phone ring, like he did for his youngest brother. I know he doesn't believe that the dead should communicate with the living, but I also assumed needing him would last far longer than just handing me back to a living human and fading on the road. I still need you, Carter. I still need you. Alright, so that is the end of chapter 1, and I want to thank you for watching, whether you've just listened to this or you've actually watched it the whole way through. So the best part about collaborating is that some of you probably know things I don't. So say you're a nurse and you say, that would actually not happen. Please feel free to let me know, because it's not too late for me to make changes on this manuscript. If you're watching this live, later on, it might be, but that's one of the reasons why I wanted to invite my readers into behind the scenes this time. And I want to allow you to watch as I actually go through the manuscript, the final edits, and put them in. And I want to just make you feel like you are actually part of this process and give you the chance to be part of this process. So thanks for joining me. I'm going to try to get out videos every week, but I am human and I am still learning all of this stuff. So I'm giving myself a week to be able to film each chapter and go through and edit, but just bear with me, because this is a learning experience for me and probably for you too. If you want to know every week when I put up a new chapter, you can subscribe to this channel. You can also go to my website and sign up for my email list. And that way you will be on top of what is going on in the publishing world of Lindsey Backen. So if you want to visit my website, you can click on the link below, or if you're just watching this, go to www.lindseybacken.com. All right, see you next week. I almost missed Simon's command because he'd and the frustration of having the entire process hit another wall. I can hear the dryer. Hang on. A nurse hovers on my left, pulling an IV needle from my eye. The least of the medical tortures. I just said eye. She smooths her hair as she speaks. Those people have no manners. But we have to let the public know. I messed up on this line a lot. Let me see. Where did it go? But we had Those people have no manners. But we at least have to know the community. I shake my head without meaning to. But Simon wraps his arms around my shoulder, tucking me away from the man. Simon only has one arm. I mean, he's only got one around her shoulder. Let's change that. Curly hairs.